everybody, it's Niall. Welcome back to Niall Smiles. It is officially May and summer is quickly approaching, and I wanted to do a video where I can recommend you guys some books to read over summer vacation, because I know I'll be doing some reading, and I'm sure hopefully some of you will have the time to do some reading as well. So today I'll be recommending you guys 9 books that I think you should read over summer vacation, or at least put on your list, okay? So some of these books are contemporary books, really like fun summery books. Other ones kind of just take place in summer. I have a few fantasy books in here because you guys know I love fantasy. So we got a nice array of genres so that, you know, whatever genre you love, you'll hopefully I can find a book that you'll like. This video today is in partner with Harper Teen / Epic Reads, and I'm so excited because there's a new release that just came out by one of my new favorite contemporary book authors. You guys remember my last video I read or talked about this book that I recently read called Top 10, and it is an awesome summer book, and this is something that's on the list, which I will talk about later. But she has a new book that just came out called 9 Days and Nights, and it is a sequel to her best-selling book 9 Days by Katie Katuga. Why did I keep saying you guys are gonna hear me say this author's name a bunch of times, but they're all by Katie Katuga. But 9 Days and Nights is a sequel to 99 Days, which some of you guys may have checked out this book, but this book follows our main character who is back for the summer. She was at a boarding school, and she decided to spend her senior year at a boarding school because of certain events that happened, and everyone in her town knows about it. She kind of had a rumor or gossip sort of situation surrounding this, something that happened. I'm not going to tell you what happened, but it has to do with these 2 brothers that was in love with both of them and may have broken one of their hearts. And so it was kind of a mess that she left behind, but she's back for the summer now, and everyone still remembers what happened the year before, and so she has to deal with like the shaming of that. This book picks up right where this book left off. It's the following summer after this summer, but this summer, instead of being back home, she's in Europe, and she meets someone new, and the past kind of comes in and mixes with this newness. So anyways, both books sound incredible. I plan on reading these over the summer. But yeah, thank you so much to Epic Reads and to Harper Teen. I can't wait to read these. But without further ado, let's get into the book recommendations so that you can have an amazing summer. Okay, let's go. Book number 1. These are in no particular order, by the way. They're just in the order that I have them stacked that I pulled off my shelf. But this first book here, like I said, I just talked about it. It's Top 10 by Katie Katuga, and I will link the reading wrap-up, my weekly book reading wrap-up that I did last week when I finished this book. Holy smokes! Okay, like I mentioned in that video, contemporary books for me are sometimes really hard to get into, but this book stole my heart, and it is the perfect combination of like heartbreak but just hilarious dialogue. It follows 2 best friends counting down the top 10 moments of their friendship, and these friends are kind of skimming the line between friends and something more, so you get these like just really incredible moments. And the timeline for this, like, they'll jump back in time 3-4 years and kind of just jump around, and all the moments that they talk about in this book aren't all happy, and that kind of adds to like the heartbreak tragic sort of side of this. But every moment they talk about in this book like strengthen their friendship. So if you just want a really like feel good, heart-wrenching book, highly recommend this one. Also, it takes place during the summer too, a few of the scenes, so highly recommend this one. The next book on my list is one that is one of my all-time favorite. I don't even know what genre this falls into. I guess like magic, sort of magic retelling book. Tiger Lily by Jodi Lynn Anderson. And this book, oh my god, I cried so hard when I finished this book. This is a retelling of Peter Pan, and I know some of you guys are just highly against retellings. Some of you guys just really hate them, and I'm someone who loves retellings, but particularly this one is told from the perspective of Tiger Lily, and she is the Indian girl living on the island that really isn't talked about in the main story, who's kind of like just the side character that helps Peter Pan, and is kind of just in the background, and so we don't get her perspective really in the main story. But in this story, everything is told from her point of view, and it is, you know, this is the story of her and Peter Pan, because before Wendy Darling came along, it was Tiger Lily and Peter, and it was just, oh, just thinking about it, it's breaking my heart. But this story will make you cry so hard, and it is just so beautiful and just breathtaking, and the way it's written and the topics, it talks about some really serious, deep topics as well that you don't get in like the fairy tale version of it, and this is like the dark, real truth version of Peter Pan, and I just highly recommend all of you guys to read it if you guys want a really like, this feels like, I always say this feels like the real story of Peter Pan, and the actual story feels like a retelling. That's what I always say when I recommend this book. So highly recommend it if you want to shed some tears this summer. Highly recommend. Next book that I'm recommending is a fantasy book, because you guys know I cannot recommend books without including fantasy books, even if it's like a contemporary themed book or series or video that I'm doing. But this next book is one that I read when I was 13, and if you guys remember, I picked up this book because I want to reread the series, and this book is Fable Haven by Brandon Mull. Now this book is a middle grade fantasy book, but it reads like a young adult book, and that's why I loved it so much when I was 13 years old, because around like 13, 14, I started to really grow out of middle grade a little bit, and so I picked up this book, you know, thinking, oh my god, this is middle grade, I may not like it, but holy smokes, it is so good. So this book follows a brother and a sister. They're the main characters of this book, and they're spending a holiday vacation at their grandparents' house, and so they don't really know much about their grandparents besides the fact that they're a little kooky and they live on this like giant sort of reserve, foresty sort of, I want to say farm, but farm's not the right word. It's more of like a forest. They kind of live in like this forest, like really off the grid area, and so they discover that their parents are actually, or their grandparents are actually caretakers for magical creatures, and that their whole plot of land is home to these crazy mythical creatures, and there's this whole like rules and systems, and the reason why all the creatures are there is because they're going extinct, and so their job is to like protect them and take care of them, even though some of the creatures are very, very evil and super creepy. The brother and the sister like fall into this whole new world and learn about all these creatures, and it's so good. It reminds me a little bit of like, oh my god, I'm trying to think of the book, but if you're someone who's really into that like magical creature, mythical creature sort of thing, highly recommend this one. But yeah, it's a great vacation read, super quick and fast paced, but also very detailed and just super engaging, so highly recommend. The next book is one that is super short, but it's like a short, sweet, wonderful summery read, and it is One of the Guys by Lisa Alden. I read this book like 2 or 3 years ago, but I loved it so much because I could just relate to the main character. But our main character in this book, she is kind of considered one of the guys. All of her best friends are like guys. There's 3 or 4 of them, and she's always been very much a tomboy and into doing, you know, all sorts of like what's deemed as like boyish things, even though, you know, girls can do whatever they want to do. The main like sort of conflict or plot of this book is our main character, you know, she's friends with all of these guys, and so she sort of creates this business for girls accidentally. She creates this business for some of her girlfriends who need like a guy to pretend to be their boyfriend for like a night or two, so she ends up, you know, like hiring all of her guy friends, and it's a good way for them to make money and save up over the summer because they're saving up for college and stuff. And so it's really funny, just hilarious, wonderful book. It's a little bit, you know, there are some sad moments in here, but overall it's just an amazing book, and again, really centered around friendship, which I feel like is a good thing to focus on for the summer, so friendship for the win. Okay, the next book, I don't even know what we're on. All I know is that I pulled 9 books off the shelf, so I don't know. I think we're halfway through right now. But this next book is one of my favorite authors, Cami Garcia. She is like, again, the contemporary queen. I was gonna say queen. The contemporary queen. If you like books with like bad boy kind of main characters as the love interest, highly recommend this author because all of her books are centered around girls who fall for like the bad boys, but you know, some people like that. I like that kind of stuff, so highly recommend. But this next book here is The Lovely Reckless by Cami Garcia. This book follows our main character. She is from a wealthier neighborhood, a wealthier family, and she ends up getting kicked out of her fancy private school and has to go to a public school in like kind of like the poorer part of the city, the more dangerous part of the city. So yeah, she ends up going to a public school and meeting this guy who is really into drag racing, or not, is it called drag racing? Street racing? You know, illegal, you know, where you race cars illegally in the street at night with a bunch of teenagers and alcohol. Yeah, so falling for like this not so good sort of guy, but then as she gets to know him, she realizes like he's actually a really good person and kind of just has this whole, you know, family drama going on, and she has all this family drama going on, and it's a really good book, and they end up like, I'm holding the book upside down. Okay, but it's a really good book. I highly recommend it. Okay, this next next book I have not talked about in so long, but I saw it on my shelf and I'm like, oh snap, this is definitely a summer read that everyone needs to hop on. But if you're someone who is really into like Fallen Angels, if you like the Hush Hush series by Becca Fitzpatrick, or what was that other series, Angel Fall by Susan E, I think it was, yes. But if you're into those books, highly recommend this book. And it is Immortal City by Scott Speer. Now, in this book we follow our main character. She is living in Los Angeles. This city that she lives in is kind of like a slightly futuristic. Guardian angels are known and exist in this world. So if you don't know what a guardian angel is, it's just basically like this angel that protects you from harm sort of thing. But in Immortal City, it is basically like guardian angels are kind of like celebrities. They're super good looking, they look just like people, and you have to hire them to protect you. So the super rich, the super elite are able to pay for guardian angels, and there's this main character. He is like the main celebrity sort of guardian angel. He hasn't been assigned anyone to protect, and he hasn't saved anyone. Like the first person you save is like a huge event if you're a guardian angel. They literally film it. There's like a whole news site for guardian angels. So anyways, a situation happens and he ends up accidentally saving our main character, and she gets like thrusted into the spotlight because she was the first person he saved, even though she's not rich, she's not someone who paid him to save her. And it just, this whole thing unfolds. Super good. Again, the dialogue in this book is hilarious, and the overall plot is really interesting and unique, and just a really fun read. I have here is a middle grade book, and it is by my favorite author ever in the whole world, Tahereh Mafi. You guys may already know what this book is, but it is Furthermore by Tahereh Mafi, and I always describe this book as kind of like an Alice in Wonderland retelling, but not, if that makes any sense. So this book follows our main character. She is a girl living in this super like fun magical world where everyone like is made of colors. So like there's people that are all sorts of different colors. They have to eat things with color in it to get color. But our main character in this world, she is the only girl who was born without any color, and so it's kind of made her an outcast. And in this book, every child when they reach a certain age has to go on sort of like a quest or an adventure. She goes on an adventure to try and find her father who went missing in this different land. It's kind of like a Alice in Wonderland sort of thing. This is where like the Alice in Wonderland aspect comes into it, but this sort of wonderland that she has to go into that's totally opposite from the world that she lives in. And she goes on this adventure with this boy here who has a special talent, and it's just this really cool quest. She's like thrusted into this world that everything is like upside down, the sky's on the floor, and it's super fun, really quick read if you want to read a middle grade book. There is a slight romantic aspect, but it's mainly an adventure, fun, magical book if you are looking for something like that. I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This book is, oh, it's so amazing. It follows our two main characters, their brother and sister, and when they were younger, they were just like two peas in a pod, best friends. They did absolutely everything together, but now in the present moment when this book is taking place, they cannot stand each other. They don't even talk to each other, and there's just like this void between them. And so this book goes back and forth between the past and the present to show what happened that led to their sort of separation. And throughout the process of these sort of like flashback chapters, you really get to know these characters, and it's so beautiful. It's so good. This is one of those books, like, I don't want to explain too much of it. Just know that if you want to read a book that's just, you kind of get two different timelines, and both timelines cause heartbreak. Highly recommend this book. I don't know why heartbreak is like the theme for summer for me all the time, but that's just what I like to read, so highly recommend this. The last book I have here is another book that has to do with siblings, but it's just super, if you want a book that's like a survival story sort of thing, but also has like a sort of sibling aspect to it, then I highly recommend this book, and it is A Map for Wreck Girls by Jessica Taylor. I read this book a while back. I think I have a vlog on it. I'll link it up here if I can find the vlog. But this book follows our two main characters. They are sisters, and they end up going on vacation to this island for summer, and they go on a boat ride. The boat crashes, and they end up getting stranded on an island with this guy who one of them had an interest in, and it's just this whole drama. Now these sisters, as well as this boy that they just met, are stranded on this island, and the sisters in this book, again, they just cannot stand each other. They used to be really close, but now they're not anymore. But now that they're on an island stranded with nothing to do, they're kind of forced to like repair their relationship. And then there's also this new guy who's there. So anyways, super great book if you want a survival story, but also like, you know, you get more deeper conversations in this book as well. Highly recommend. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Once again, don't forget to check out 99 Days and 9 Days and Nights by Katie Gatugno. This is definitely going to be the books of this summer, so definitely check that out. Until next time, keep reading, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!